Hey Daphne, are you there? I just needed to talk to you really quick. It's actually about Dad. You see, so if you could get back to me as soon as you can, that would be really great. I guess I can talk about it a little bit here, but the thing is that I think he's starting to get dementia.
Wait, what? Kayla, what are you talking about? Are you serious about this?
Well, it's just that even though he's so rich, he's being a complete idiot about his money. Haven't you noticed that? He has no idea how he should be spending it or what he should even be doing with all that money. So I think it would be better if he just gave it all to me, don't you think? Actually, I'm already in the process of trying to get an early distribution of his will so that I can have all of his money before he dies. Anyways, I guess that basically all I wanted to tell you really.
Hold on just a second. What are you talking about? This is all so sudden. I mean, I know that you had been going to visit Dad at home more often and all that. But do you really think that our dad is starting to develop dementia? Is that something you really think is happening over there?
I really do. I mean, I would know since, like you said, I've been spending so much time here with him. But yeah, I think Dad has basically completely lost it. I don't know what else we're going to be able to do for him at this point. I didn't think it would happen this quickly, but now that I think about some more, I think that he's completely gone. He's just an empty shell of the man he used to be. I think that it's probably just a matter of time before he even forgets how to speak. I guess we should have seen this coming, but would have guessed it would be happening so soon.
Kayla, I'm sorry, but I think this is all very, very strange, and I'm not sure that you're completely right about this.
Besides, I've already started the process to have Dad's will distributed before he dies, but I guess the estate people need some kind of confirmation from you as well. That's actually the real reason why I reached out to you, if I can be honest.
So then you're really going to try and go through with this weird living will thing? Are you sure that this is something that Dad would even want in the first place? Because I really wouldn't feel comfortable giving any kind of permission to this if Dad wasn't okay with it. Can we please just talk about this a little more before we make any rash decisions? This is really important, and we shouldn't rush this.
Ugh! Are you kidding me? What more talking is there to do? You know, this is why you and I never get along. I mean, do you really think that you're that much better than me just because you're the older sister? You need to understand that I'm the one taking care of our dad, and I'm only telling you what I see when I do take care of him. And what I see is a senile old man who might as well have his brains melting out of his ears.
Can you please not talk about our dad that way, Kayla? That's seriously disgusting. And I'm sorry, but I just really can't believe that our dad is as bad as you say. It just isn't adding up for me. I know that you've been going over to his house more and more, and I really do appreciate you doing that, Kayla. But I still think that trying to parcel out his will before our dad has even died just isn't right. I don't think it's something that we should be doing.
Well, thankfully, it isn't a decision that you'll have to worry about making since I've already made it for all of us. Our dad barely even knows what shapes are anymore. I'll show you something from my purse and he just stares at it like he's a baby with no knowledge of how the world works. And the fact of the matter is that you live so far away and just don't have the right to tell me what I'm seeing happen before my very eyes. That is why I had to take matters into my own hands and do what Dad no longer has the power to do for himself.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm just saying that I don't think that Dad can be as bad as you're making him out to be. I mean, we actually just talked on the phone not all that long ago, so it's not like I haven't been in contact with him at all.
Well, of course he can talk on a phone, but you just don't understand what was happening there. Dad's muscle memory just kicked in, and that's why he was able to talk to you on the phone like that. You may have heard his voice talking from the other end, but it wasn't really him at all.
I'm sorry, but that is very, very hard to believe after the way you've been describing what he's like.
Well, I'm sorry that you find it hard to believe, but let me just remind you that you're all the way over there and I'm here with Dad in person. Got it? I'm the one who has been watching over him, and that means that it's my duty to make this kind of decision for him. So I'm going to send you the documents for the will, and then you're going to sign them. You don't mind if I just ensure that I get everything that's in there, do you?
What on earth are you talking about now? Did you just ask me if I mind if you claim everything in Dad's will?
Okay, so you did understand me. Then I guess that means you don't mind if I do that, right? Just consider it me taking my share for taking care of him.
But you haven't even really been taking care of him at all. I mean, it's not like you're there living with him and watching over him full time. You've just been visiting him more often this past month. And before then, you hadn't visited Dad in years and years, so I think that if you really want to go through with this will dispersal thing, we should talk to a lawyer first.
Well, I wouldn't do that if I were you. I mean, this is how Dad wanted us to do it. He said that he wanted his will to be given out before he died, and so you really shouldn't go against him.
Look, Kayla, you can tell me that he said that, but I still just can't buy that at all. I'm going to call Dad again and talk to him about this. Just please don't do anything until we've done our due diligence about this.
But why would you even bother calling him? I already told you that you won't do any good. He's only gotten worse since the last time you called him, you know. I don't care what you say. I know what our dad wants, and I'm going to be moving forward with it. You don't have the right to tell me what I can and can't do when you live so far away and haven't been with Dad like I have.
Kayla, give me a break. You know what this looks like, don't you? It looks like you only started visiting Dad recently so that you could try and steal his money from him. And if this is really what you're doing to our own dad, then, well, I'm not going to stand for it.
We just finished moving. It's all finally done. Consider it a final present from our poor senile dad.
What are you talking about this time? I don't remember getting anything.
Are you sure? You should check outside your door, because from now on, you're going to be taking care of Dad, not me. Anyways, good luck with that, sis.
Wait, what? No, seriously, what on earth are you talking about right now, Kayla?
I mean that I dropped off our senile old dad on your doorstep, and now you're going to have to take care of him until he dies. Meanwhile, I used up all of Dad's savings to buy myself a new big house. And don't worry, I promise to stay out of your hair from now on. In fact, you probably won't ever see me again since I've made sure that I'm going to get everything in Dad's will.
I see. So that was what this was about after all then, wasn't it? You were always only ever after the money, weren't you? And now you're telling me that you found a way to get everything in Dad's will, too? I tried to warn you that you shouldn't go through with that, but you just didn't listen to me at all, did you?
I told you that I was only doing what Dad wanted me to, so I don't get where you get off telling me that I was wrong. Of course, then again, maybe I was wrong. He was so brain dead and mumbly by the time I dropped him off that he really could have been saying anything to me. Anyways, either way, he isn't my problem now. He's yours.
So you're really just going to take all of our Dad's money and then just run away? You really are horrible. Do you know that? It's clear that you were never ever intending to take care of Dad. You were always only ever after his money, and now that you have it, you just dump our dad on my doorstep and run off?
And just what are you going to do about it, huh? Don't you know that I've already won? I've gotten everything that I needed from him, so don't waste your energy trying to scold me, Daphne.
You both are horrible, you know that? I can't believe that your husband is also just sitting back and letting you get away with this. You're both just horrible.
Well, I'm sorry, but can you really blame me for not having any more use for an old fart like Dad anymore? That's why I keep telling you that he's all your problem now. If you're really so upset over how I treated him, then you can deal with him now.
Well, you should know that Dad is sitting right here next to me and is laughing so hard at you.
What are you talking about? What is he laughing at? How can he even form a funny thought at the laugh at?
Well, I got home a little bit ago to let our dad inside, and you really have no idea what you're talking about at all. He isn't even close to senile. He's as sharp as he's ever been.
What do you mean?
I mean that he's here and he's talking just fine. He's very lucid and active, and he's been telling me all about what you've been doing to him. Then I showed him the messages that you've been sending me, and he just burst out in laughter.
Hold on a second. You showed our private conversations to our dad? What is the matter with you? Why would you do that?
And just why shouldn't I have done that when you were going to leave him here and make me take care of him?
But I mean, no, you don't get it. He's senile, but sometimes he has moments where he comes to. That's all. So just don't say anything to him because he still doesn't understand what's actually going on around him. Even if he says something about changing his mind, about giving me everything in his will, just know that he's not in his right mind at all, okay?
The only person who is losing their mind here is you, Kayla. Dad says that he was never, ever going to give you everything in his will.
Wait, what? What do you mean by that? Of course I was going to get everything.
This whole story you've been trying to sell me about Dad being senile was just one huge lie. He's as healthy as he's ever been. But now that I know that you've been lying, it just confirms everything that I had been worried about to begin with. You and your husband were in on this together just to try and rob our father of his money.
You don't know what you're talking about. This is just one big mistake, I swear.
Why are you even trying to cover for yourself right now? I already know that you were lying to me. It's all over. I know now that you were saying Dad was senile just so that you could try and fool me into going along with what you wanted. But it's over. I know what you were trying to do. I see right through you, and there's no point in carrying on this charade any longer.
But I mean, he really was pretending to be senile? I swear it, unless Dad was just doing that to try and fool my husband. And I?
Well, you should see the look on Dad's face right now. He told me you just hit the nail on the head. He knew that you were trying to steal his money, so he told me that he was pretending to be a bit slower to see just how far you would go with this.
So you mean this is all just a big plot by Dad? And my husband and I just fell for it like that? I didn't know that Dad had that all in him. I can't believe that he would lie to us. I really did think that he was totally senile. But then, what about the documents for the will distribution?
Those were all fake. Dad told his lawyer about his plan to catch you and your husband in the act and asked her to draw up some fake documents. But, as you can see, Dad was never senile at all. He's as sharp as he's ever been to pull off something like this. The only reason I'm telling you all of this is to save the embarrassment and trouble of trying to go and get any of that paperwork processed.
So then, these documents are fake? Even though we got them from Dad's lawyer? But this doesn't make sense. I thought that I was going to get it all. I thought that all of Dad's money was going to be mine. Do you know how much money I've sunken into this scam?
Oh, please, you said that you were paying for all of this using Dad's savings anyways, isn't that right? Although you should know that you have until the end of the day to move out of your house now.
What are you talking about? My husband and I just moved here. We're not going to move out. This is our new home.
Well, Dad called one of his colleagues and made sure to stop you and your husband from living there at all.
What do you mean? What did he do? What could have he possibly done that is going to keep my husband and I from living in our new home?
Well, he called the real estate office and had the name on the deed changed to his. After all, it was his money that bought the house.
Wait, he put his name on the deed of our house? Can he do that? Is that even legal? I don't understand. I thought that I had everything planned out perfectly. How did it all come to this?
I just explained to you what happened. The only thing that you need to know now is that you and your husband have until the end of the day to pack your bags and leave. And now that Dad knows what your plan has been this whole time, you should also know that he's decided to leave everything in his will to me.
You're kidding me? You mean that I plotted so hard to try and make sure that everything in his will would go to me, but now it's all going to you instead? Does that mean that you're going to be getting all of his money before he dies like I was supposed to?
Of course not. Dad and I talked about that, and I told him that I was in no rush at all. Besides, all those documents were fake anyways, remember? So there would be no point in me trying to use them. But you should know that because of this, Dad is going to cut you off and never offer any kind of support to you ever again.
Wait, Dad is going to cut me off? How can he do that?
He can do that because of the way you and your husband were trying to treat him. Did you really think that he was just going to let this go? And just know that I'm going to follow suit and never ever talk to you again as well. Of course, it's not like we were even that close to begin with, if I'm being honest. But I just can't even stand to have you in my life after what you've done. I mean, how could you even try to do this to your own father and to me, your sister? You are nothing but a horrible, selfish woman, daughter, and sister, and you deserve whatever comes to you.
No, please. I really had no idea that Dad was just acting. I thought he was really going senile. I swear that I never would have done any of this if I knew that he wasn't senile and just his old self. Please, you have to believe me. You know that I wouldn't.
All that tells me is that you weren't going to try anything because you know that you wouldn't be able to get away with it. But we both know that it had been years and years and years since you had last visited Dad. Then all of a sudden you show up at his door because you think he's getting a little too old? It was so obvious what you were trying to do. Did you really think you were fooling anyone at all? It's not like Dad was even pretending to be senile from the start. But you just assumed that was what was happening when he would forget something now and then. So knowing that you were planning something and that you had leapt to the conclusion that he was going senile, the plan basically just fell into place.
But, I mean, so he really was just acting? He was never ever going senile at all? Are you serious?
That's right. He was only acting in a way that he thought would serve to fool you further. He knew that you were not the kind of person who would ever return to live with their parents in their old age.
But I mean, he didn't have to do that. That's so mean. It's not fair. We're family. We're supposed to be able to trust each other. How could he do that to me? I'm his daughter. How could he treat me this way? He's horrible. This isn't fair at all.
You expect him to be honest with you when you were literally trying to rob him blind? That's really rich, do you know that? You literally left him behind the moment you thought you had gotten what you wanted out of him. Anyways, I would quit wasting your time texting me and tell your husband to start packing up. In the end, the real estate agent that Dad was friends with did show up and tell Kayla and her husband that they had only a few more hours before they would have to leave. They were both in such a panic and begged for more time. But Dad was out of patience for their planning and told them to quit wasting their time and get back to packing. He was laughing all night about how he had fooled the two of them with his senile old man act. And with that, Kayla and her husband lost out on not only their new home, but Dad's inheritance as well. After that, Dad formally cut her out of his will and told her he never wanted to hear from her again. I have no idea what happened to Kayla and her husband after that, and frankly, I don't really care.
Hey, you no-good, grubby little leech. I want to know just how long you plan on surviving off of all my dad's hard work. Don't you realize we'd all be so much happier if you just got out of our lives? I haven't heard from you in so long, and this is the way you break the silence? I feel like you've been completely ignoring me around the house as well, you know. I really don't know what's gotten into you, but I'm starting to get a bit sick of it. I mean, you're not even cooking the meals that I'm making for you anymore. And just who do you think you are talking to me as if you're my real mom, huh? You really need to remember your place in this family, you parasite. I'm sorry that you don't like the way I worded things, but I don't see how anything I said was false. I don't care what's true and what's false. I just know that I want you out of our lives. I really don't understand. Why are you coming to me and saying all of this all of a sudden? It's not so sudden for me. I know that my dad and I are going to be just fine on our own. We don't need some outsider leeching off of my family's wealth anymore. I'm sorry you feel this way about me, but maybe you should talk about these feelings with your father first. Then maybe we could all talk about this together with each other. Maybe your dad would even agree to move out and take you somewhere. And just why would my dad have to do something like that, huh? It's his house. If anyone should have to leave, it should be you. I really think that you should talk to your father about this before we carry on with this talk. Besides, I make $100,000 a year. What am I leeching off of anyone? I think you just want me out of the house is all. But what I don't get is what you think you're going to gain by doing so. What am I going to gain? Well, that should be obvious. I'll finally be ridding my family of a disgusting parasite that's been living off of us for years. Even Dad is getting sick of having you around. He's always talking about how he has to work all day, but you always spend all of his money. Meanwhile, you hardly leave anything for him to spend on himself. Did your dad really say that? Even about him having to work every day? Well, it's true, isn't it? You're always coming and going to and from the house whenever you want, but Dad only ever goes to work and comes home, and that's all he has time for. And it's all your fault. You keep a short leash and don't let him live his life the way he wants. I hate what you're doing to him. Tina, I really think that you need to get a grip and reassess the situation. And I don't say that for my sake, but for yours, okay? Just what do you know, huh? Don't pretend as if you know what I want. I know that you're a selfish woman who only ever does things for herself. That's why I want you out of our lives forever. I am trying to tell you that you're making a mistake here. You really need to go and talk to your dad about this. He can explain it all. Let me go and talk to him for a moment, and then I'll come back to you, okay? Can you please just give it a rest already with what you say to Tina?
What the heck are you talking about? I don't really care, but can you lend me some money? I'm almost through my budget for the month, and I need more. Come on. You know that you don't give me enough anyways. Just give me a little more.
You want even more money? What happened to all that I gave you already? How did you spend it all so quickly? Anyways, we're going to be talking about money after I say what I came here to say. You need to have a real conversation with your daughter and tell her the truth about what's going on. The more you put that off, the worse my relationship gets with her. I am tired of her talking down to me, insulting me, and treating me like an idiot because of you, Todd. I am seriously starting to reach my limit. Do you understand me?
I don't know what you want me to do. She's your daughter now too, you know. Go be a good mom and learn how to control your children better.
Control her? Todd, she's already 17 years old. This isn't about controlling her. It's about giving her the information she needs to make her own decisions about life. You have to stop lying to her and telling her false information. She blames me for every single problem we have. It isn't fair that I should be the one taking all of the heat because you don't want to step up and tell her the truth. All of this would be solved if you weren't such a coward.
I will talk to Tina about my life when I'm good and ready to. Okay?
No, not when you're ready to. Now. You've been saying when I'm ready for years now. Don't you realize how this is affecting us as a whole family?
Yeah, of course. I know all that. And if you just give me a little more money, I'll really think about saying something. I promise. Now come on. I'm seriously down to my last few dollars. You've got to give me something.
You really are just the worst. Do you realize that, Todd? Hey there, Anna. I see that you've left for the day. You know that you don't need to bother coming back home ever, right? And just what is that supposed to mean? And since when did you start calling me by my first name? I mean that if you're already out of the house, you should stay out. All you do is make things worse, so just keep away. If you have something you want to say to me, why don't you just come out and say it? Well, I actually sent off the divorce papers for you and Dad. That means that you and him don't need to live together anymore. Dad and I are going to live together, and you'll have to go and figure out your own life. So you really did send the divorce papers for your father and I? And just how did you manage to get away with doing something like that? Well, you probably had no idea about this, but Dad had already printed out the divorce papers and kept them in his desk. I happened to see where he put them one day when he tried to hide them from me, and so I dug them out while he was away. I saw that he had already signed his name all where it needed to be. I really do need to thank Dad for being so prepared. So then you sent out divorce papers that your dad had already signed without telling either of us? I have to say that I am shocked at you. And since you don't even have a job, you probably won't be able to find a place to live now, too. I warned you that you should do a little more research into this before acting, but are you sure you really want me out of the house? Of course I am! This is what I've been waiting for forever! I feel like I'm having a dream come true! I'm finally getting to squash the horrible leech that's been on the side of my family for years. I feel at ease. It's like a great burden has been lifted off of our shoulders and the sun has come out after a rainy day. Just the thought of you being cold and homeless on the street is bringing me so much joy! Well, if this is what you really want, good luck, I guess. The one who's going to need luck is you! Whatever you say. I guess I'll take my leave from the house then. But I just have one last thing that I think you should know before I leave. And what last pathetic words do you have to say to me? I'm not the one who doesn't have a job. That would be your father. Wait, what is that supposed to mean? I mean that you said your father told you that he goes to work every day. That's a lie. All he does is spend his days at the casino wasting our money. Wait a second, you expect me to believe that? That's just ridiculous. Why would Dad lie to me about working? And why would he be spending all day gambling? I suppose this really is the first you're hearing about all of this then. But it's true. I'm afraid that everything your father said about me was just to protect his own reputation in your eyes, Tina. I don't get what you mean. This doesn't make any sense. Why would he need to worry about his reputation with me? I don't know. You should ask what he would have to gain by belittling me in front of you like he has been. He wanted you to take his side in everything. And you fell for it like a sucker. You defended him no matter what I tried to say, and you believed every lie he told you about me. No, this doesn't make any sense. You better start explaining yourself right this moment. In that case, one other thing you should know is that no matter how much your father put me down, he never wanted to throw me out of the house. And yet little did he know that he was pushing you to do just that to me with all of his lies about me being jobless. No, this can't be right. You're just trying to lie to me because you realize that you're getting kicked out. Well, I'm not listening. You're just some crazy old jealous loser. You can believe me or not. It won't really make any difference. But the truth is that I was giving your father money every month. He hasn't made his money in a long time, and yet you listened to everything he had to say about me. You really don't know when to stop all this, do you? I already said that I'm not listening to a word that you have to say anymore. Again, you are more than welcome to ignore all that I'm saying, but quite frankly, I've had enough of you two as well. But soon you'll be an adult, and you'll have to take responsibility for taking care of yourself. And then you'll have to choose whether to keep living with your father or go out on your own. I've actually learned how to take care of myself for a while now. We don't need you in our life anymore, so just beat it. Well, okay. But you do realize that if I leave, that means I won't be supporting you or your father anymore, right? There you go again, making up more lies. What support have you ever given? You really think that I'm going to fall for that? You act like you've given Dad and I everything when all you've done is taken. I know you're lying, so just stop it already. I'm not trying to upset you, Tina. I really am just trying to warn you. I just hope you don't regret what you're doing. Just shut up already, you old hag! Don't pretend like you're all that when you're really nothing! I never, ever want to see you again. You were never my mother, and I'm glad you're gone. Don't ever think of me as your daughter again. As of today, you're nothing to me. We are complete strangers. Okay then, I understand. I am not your mother, and you are not my daughter. Now, please don't come to me for anything else. Hey! Pick up the phone when I'm calling you, you stupid old witch! Can't you tell that your daughter is panicked? I'm sorry, but I'm in the middle of work right now. Besides, I thought that you said you were going to stop calling me. But you were telling the truth about everything! I know that. What of it? Well, so now I finally know that you were! Please, you have to come back home to us! Dad is so mad all the time. I need your help! I really have no idea what you're talking about. Besides, I don't even have a daughter. What do you mean? How can you say that? I didn't. You did. You told me to never think of you as my daughter again. So I'm sorry that you're having a rough time right now, lady, but that doesn't have anything to do with me. Anyways, goodbye. Hold on a second! Is this supposed to be some kind of joke? I'm your daughter! You can't just walk away from me! I'm sorry, but I've already told you that I don't have a daughter. We're just strangers to each other, remember? Wait, no, you're not really going to abandon me, are you? I didn't know Dad doesn't make any more. And he's so mad at me for sending the divorce papers. He's so scary and angry all the time now. I don't understand what happened. So I guess you finally understand the kind of man your father is now. What do you mean by that? I mean that I was always trying to protect you from him, but maybe that was my mistake. Because he took advantage of that and lied to you about me instead. But I had no idea he was that kind of person. I thought that my dad was kind and sweet, and what should I do now? He doesn't have money, he doesn't work, he doesn't do anything but gamble and drink. I suppose you'd better find a job and start working then. But I'm still in high school. I could only work a part-time job at best, and I have no idea how I'm supposed to go to college at this rate. Yeah, and to think you wouldn't have had to take out any loans if I was still around. What do you mean? You're not going to send me to college either? Well, I had a whole college fund saved up for my daughter, but since we're no longer family, I'm afraid that I can't pass that on to you. So I'm afraid the only option left for you now is to work for your money. Mom, please, you have to help me! Please don't call me Mom. I already told you that I don't have any children. You and I are nothing to each other now, and I owe you nothing. You wanted it this way despite my attempts to warn you, and now you need to take responsibility. You're almost 18, so consider this your first real life lesson. But I had no idea that Dad was lying to me! This isn't fair! How was I supposed to know that you were making all the money in our house? I tried to tell you the truth over and over again, but you just refused to listen to me. Well, then can I at least come and live with you? I hate living with Dad. He's so scary all the time. I'm so sorry for everything that I said to you. I'm afraid that I have a policy against letting strangers stay in my house. Besides, how do I know that you won't just fall into your old ways of looking down on me and insulting me all the time? But I need your help! I don't know what else to do! Well then, take your first step as an adult and figure out what to do. Good luck, stranger! In the end, Tina realized that I was only ever trying to tell her the truth, and that it was her father who was lying to her this whole time. It was quite a shock for her to realize this, and she fell into a deep depression afterwards. Shocked by learning about her father's true nature and forced to start working to take care of herself, Tina ended up dropping out of high school and working to sustain herself and her father. She tried to message me asking for help, but I had already blocked her on everything by then. I do plan on stepping in to help her eventually, but if I'm going to pour all my money and heart into raising her, I think Tina needs to learn some lessons about the real world before I put her back on track.